The invoice was sitting on my kitchen table when I collapsed. Not metaphorically. I mean, my knees actually buckled, and I went down hard against the linoleum, my hip cracking against the chair leg on the way. The paper was still in my hand. $63,000. Due in 14 days. And beneath the billing summary, in that cold, bureaucratic font they use for everything that ruins your life, it said, "Outstanding balance for patient Margaret Chen, Sunset Grove Care Facility, account status, delinquent." My mother had been dead for 6 weeks. I hadn't paid the bill because I didn't know it existed. Because my sister Lisa told me she'd handled everything. Because when Mom died, Lisa said she'd taken care of the funeral, the estate, the paperwork, all of it. She'd insisted, actually. Said I'd done enough. Said I deserved to rest after spending 2 years as Mom's primary caregiver while she lived 3 states away building her perfect life. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the handwritten note paper-clipped to the invoice. I almost missed it. My hands were shaking so badly the papers kept sliding against each other, and when I finally got them separated, I saw Lisa's handwriting. That careful, neat script she'd always been so proud of. "Mom wanted you to pay this. She told me before she died. Said you owed her for everything. Don't try to call me about it. I've changed my number." I sat there on my kitchen floor, 51 years old, and felt something inside me that had been bending for decades finally snap. Because 6 weeks earlier, at Mom's funeral, Lisa had hugged me in front of everyone and whispered in my ear, "Thank God we can both finally move on." This is the story of how I discovered my sister had been planning my destruction for 2 years, and how my mother had helped her do it. I was still on that floor when the full weight of it settled over me. My apartment was quiet. Too quiet. The last thing my mother said to me before she died kept playing in my head. She gripped my hand, her fingers like bird bones wrapped in tissue paper, and looked right into my eyes. "You're a good daughter, Sarah," she'd said. "Don't let anyone tell you different." I'd thought it was reconciliation. Now I understood what she'd really meant. She was giving me permission to believe I'd done enough, so I wouldn't question what came next. Let me back up. My mother was difficult. That's the polite way everyone put it. The truth was she was controlling and critical, and she'd spent my entire childhood making it clear that I was the disappointing daughter. Lisa was 3 years younger, prettier, smarter, more charming. Lisa married well, had perfect children, lived in Connecticut with vacation photos from Tuscany. I was the spinster who taught high school English in Cleveland. But when Mom's dementia started 3 years ago, it wasn't Lisa who stepped up. It was me. I moved Mom into Sunset Grove, a beautiful facility that cost almost all her pension plus $800 monthly from my own salary. I visited 3 times a week. I sat with her during the bad spells when she didn't recognize me. I held her hand during the good days. Lisa visited twice in 3 years. Then 18 months ago, something shifted. Lisa started calling more, asking detailed questions about Mom's finances, her legal documents. She wanted copies of everything. She said she was worried I was overwhelmed, that she wanted to help. I was so grateful I could have cried. She had me sign papers at her kitchen table. Said they were just administrative updates, making her co-responsible so I wouldn't have to do everything alone. I signed them while her kids played in the other room. "We're family, Sarah," she'd said, hugging me. "We do this together." I'd believed her. Then Mom died suddenly from a stroke. Lisa handled the funeral with calm efficiency, held my hand during the service, made sure I ate at the reception. And then she vanished. Until that invoice showed up with her note attached. I called Sunset Grove first, hands still shaking. The woman in billing was apologetic, but firm. The balance was accurate. The account had been in my name since 18 months ago, since I'd signed those papers. The papers that had transferred full financial liability to me alone while removing Lisa entirely. "But I paid every month," I said. "I paid the $800 shortfall." There was a pause. "Ma'am, the shortfall hasn't been $800 for over a year. When your mother's condition worsened, she required additional care. The monthly cost increased by $3,000. Someone updated the automatic withdrawal to cover only the original amount. The rest has been accumulating. Who updated it? According to our records, you did. Or someone with your account access. Lisa had my banking information. I'd given it to her when she'd offered to help manage expenses. She'd been sabotaging me for over a year. I drove to Connecticut that night. For hours through darkness, my mind racing. I'd called Lisa's number a dozen times. She'd changed it like the note said. Her husband Craig's phone went straight to voicemail. I hammered on their door at midnight until Craig opened it, bleary-eyed in pajamas. Where is she? Lisa. She's in Boston. Some work conference. What's going on? I shoved past him. Did she tell you about the $63,000 nursing home bill she stuck me with? His face went blank. What are you talking about? He didn't know. Lisa had kept him in the dark too. I spent that night in his kitchen showing him everything. The invoice, the note, the paperwork. I watched his certainty crumble. She's been weird lately, he finally admitted. Secretive. She opened a new bank account I'm not on. Said it was for business expenses. This was bigger than I'd thought. I hired a lawyer the next day. Patricia Gomez reviewed everything in 48 hours and called me in with an expression I couldn't read. Sarah, your sister has been systematically dismantling your mother's estate. She's been liquidating assets, savings, pension accounts, your father's trust. Approximately $240,000 has been moved into offshore holdings. The office spun, but the will left everything split evenly. The will was changed 8 months ago. Your mother signed a new one, making Lisa the sole beneficiary. It was witnessed by 2 staff members at Sunset Grove. That's impossible. Mom couldn't even remember my name by then. That's our argument. But your sister was smart. She visited more frequently during that period. She could argue your mother had good days. But there were no good days by then. I knew. I'd been there. There's more, Patricia said quietly. I found a voice recording from the facility. Your mother, 2 weeks before she died, during a phone call with Lisa. She played it. Mom's voice weak. Don't understand why Sarah needs to. She's been so good to me. Lisa's voice patient. Mom, remember? Sarah agreed to handle the final expenses. She insisted. You remember signing the papers, right? A long pause. Yes. I remember. Good. Because Sarah's going to take care of everything. That's what she wants. I sat there feeling my entire history rewrite itself. Every kind word Lisa had spoken. Every helpful gesture. It had all been a setup. Then my phone buzzed. An unknown number. Stop digging or it gets worse. You can't prove anything. Pay the bill, or I'll make sure everyone knows you neglected Mom. I have recordings. She'd been recording me during my visits, collecting ammunition for 18 months. But what Lisa didn't know was that I'd been keeping records too. The evidence was in a shoebox under my bed. 2 years of receipts, calendar pages, and visitor logs from Sunset Grove. I'd kept them because I was paranoid about insurance claims. And there it was. Visitor logs showing Lisa had signed in on 3 consecutive days when she'd actually been in Aruba. I had her Instagram posts with timestamps to prove it. Someone else had been signing her name. Someone who'd witnessed Mom's new will. Patricia got security footage. It showed a nurse named Jennifer Marks entering Mom's room with paperwork, staying 15 minutes, then leaving. Jennifer had been fired from 2 facilities for ethics violations. Her bank records showed 3 deposits totaling $15,000 around the time of Mom's will change. Lisa had paid someone to fake visitor logs and manipulate Mom. The case fell apart fast. Patricia went to the police. The nursing home cooperated immediately. Craig filed for divorce and agreed to testify. Lisa tried to flee to the Cayman Islands. She made it to the airport before federal marshals stopped her. The trial took 8 months. Lisa's lawyers argued she'd been protecting family assets, that I'd been negligent. But the evidence was overwhelming. And then I played my recording. I'd been recording my visits too, not as evidence, but to remember Mom's voice, including one from 3 weeks before she died, when she'd had a moment of clarity. Sarah, she'd said, Lisa was here yesterday. She wanted me to sign papers. I told her no. I told her you've been so good to me, that you deserve everything. But she's angry. She's always been so angry that you were the one who stayed. She scares me now, sweetheart. In the courtroom, when that played, I watched Lisa's face crumble. The jury convicted her of elder financial abuse, fraud, and conspiracy. 4 years in federal prison. Ordered to repay everything, not just from the estate but to me personally. The nursing home settled for the full bill plus damages. I walked out with $240,000 in restitution plus $150,000 from the settlement. But I'd lost my mother, and in a twisted way, I'd lost my sister too. Craig got full custody of the kids. They write to me sometimes, confused about why their mom did what she did. I tell them people make terrible choices when they feel like they're not enough. I quit teaching. Used the settlement money to start a nonprofit helping families navigate elder care finances and spot exploitation. I named it after Mom, the Margaretchen Foundation. Sometimes late at night, I still think about Lisa's note. The casual cruelty,